Welcome to the Do Good Mavericko podcast, episode number 52. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. This episode is inspired by a Jim Rohn quote. We must all suffer from one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces, while regret weighs tons. Jim Rohn. How true. Imagine where you could be today if you did something every day or every week for the last 90 days, the last year, the last 5 years. It's kind of like how James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, explained that if you have good habits, you can make time your ally or your friend, but with bad habits, time becomes your enemy. I'm butchering that quote by him, but roughly like that he explained it, and it makes sense. One thing about discipline and habits that kind of annoyed me or discouraged me before was that when people talk about habits, they tend to talk about a lot of stuff like read 20 pages per day, exercise, do a cold plunge, do this and that, and they have like 39-step morning routines that takes like 2 to 4 hours to complete. A lot of things, and a lot of those habits that usually gets mentioned when people talk about creating good habits for yourself. A lot of them are amazing, healthy, great stuff. But the thing is, it can be extremely time consuming if you spend like 3 hours on a morning routine before you get to work or start working on a project. It's not really easy to sustain, and it can be kind of draining as well. So yeah, that was what was so refreshing about the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, because in that book he talks about how you should choose your habits based on what goals you have. It's not just about doing all those small habits. Of course, if you have great habits around a bunch of other things, not directly related to your goals, of course, it can still have a positive impact. But in some ways, it can also kind of distract. But yeah, in his book, he talks about setting up your habits where your daily habits is connected to your goals. So, for example, if your goal is to escape the matrix of the 9 to 5 rat race, then maybe you would choose to make a daily habit of working focused 2 hours per day on your side hustle, on your online business. And if you did that every day for 1 month, 3 months, 1 year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you'll probably get results. And if you set a habit like that, where we're going to work 2 hours per day on a side hustle or an online business, you should be working on things that are important and income generating. So it should probably be focused around marketing or sales, where you're doing things that can get you customers or clients, you know. But yeah, I thought I'd jump on and share that one, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. I'm not really, I'm not an expert at all, but I don't need to be an expert to regurgitate some solid, timeless Jim Rohn advice. Jim Rohn, he had a lot of solid stuff, both books and videos, seminars, courses, and stuff. But yeah, if you were to try to escape the 9 to 5 rat race, one thing you might consider is building a paid community. It's really gaining popularity these days, and the amount of people I see doing it, you know, I see people doing it, but I've been interviewing several success stories of people that are running paid communities that is making at least $10,000 in profit per month. And one of the really exciting things that kind of shocked me was how fast several of these were doing it, from when they launched until they reached $10,000 in profit per month. An old lady did it in like 2 months. Two buddies, two friends that started a paid community together did it in something like, I think it was around 3 months. Around 3 months from when they started to, yeah, they reached 5 figures in profit per month. And the cool thing is, if you have to start something on the side of a full-time job, I guess it is a good idea to start a subscription business, a membership business. Because let's say if you start your own paid community and you start promoting it, either through reaching out to people directly, sending cold emails, paid ads, creating and posting content, be interviewed on podcasts, using affiliates, whatever it is. It's a big advantage if you have something where you can kind of build it brick by brick and don't start over on zero every month, you know. If you decide to do something else like selling physical products through an e-commerce store, for example, it might work as well. But one challenge there is that when you're selling things like that, physical products, they're hard to, I mean, they're kind of expensive to buy and fulfill because there are product cost and usually also ad cost, advertising cost. And the profit margins are usually a lot lower compared to other businesses. And if it is not a subscription business, let's say if you make $2,000, after 3 months you finally make $2,000 per month. Yeah, that's that month. Next month you have to sell the same amount in order to make the same money. So you're kind of, in a way, starting over every month when it comes to revenue, because it's not automatically snowballing, so to speak. But if you build a membership business, a subscription business, like, for example, a paid community, if you have like 20 members the first month, the second month, well, you still have 20 members, and you can, you know, except for churn, some people might cancel their memberships. But let's say if 2 or 3 of them cancel their membership, yeah, you still have 17 members. And then if you get 20 more members, now you have like 37 members at the end of month 2. And you can grow it like that. So it's kind of compounding or snowballing, where you're reaping benefits from the efforts for several months in the past, in the month you're in now. you know. And another great advantage of paid communities is that the profit margin is really high. You need like a software and a payment processor, depending on what software you choose, but like one to five softwares. Sometimes you can do it with even just one software, and that's it. That's kind of your cost, unless you're using paid ads and VAs and stuff. But yeah, it's not a product cost, so the profit margins are super high. You don't have to pay for the physical product cost, and also when it is a subscription business, the cost of acquiring a customer or a member, if you're using paid ads, those numbers might look a lot better. Your return on ad spend, your ROAS, might look a lot better when you are selling a subscription than if you're just selling one physical product. But yeah, that's some arguments for starting a paid community. And another thing is that it's trending. They say a rising tide lifts all boats, and there is a lot of truth to it. And the thing is, with paid communities, it's trending, and you're still early to the trend. That's my point. There's a lot of niches, categories, industries, businesses out there where an online paid community basically doesn't exist. Whereas if it existed, it would be super valuable and desirable for people or businesses to join it. It's about choosing the right one. But yeah, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. So if you think about it, for your own scenario, when it comes to this thing about being disciplined, having good habits, should you exercise every week? Should you eat healthy? Should you read or listen to an audiobook every day? Yeah, a lot of those things, absolutely. It can be life-changing as well. But in addition to that, if you really want to make progress towards a specific goal, you should probably also choose your daily habits, your daily disciplines. Whereas if you stay consistent and do it every day, you're actually moving towards your goal, because that's not happening automatically just by reading 20 books. I mean, just by reading 20 pages per day and taking a cold plunge. It might really help, yes, but it's not really moving the needle directly. Whereas if you work 2 hours per day, for example, towards it on the most important KPIs, key performance indicators, the most important few tasks, that's different. So a few small changes per day might totally change your life just a few months from now. That's the thing. I think when it comes to a lot of habits and disciplines, if people don't really see the results, it can be discouraging. But yeah. So maybe if your goal is to have more financial freedom, maybe you want time, income, and location independence, or what Jim Rohn, no, not Jim Rohn, what Tim Ferriss called the freedom multiplier, the 4 Ws. Having the freedom to choose what you do, when you do it, where you do it, and with whom you do it. The 4 Ws, the freedom multiplier that he called it in his book, The 4-Hour Work Week. Is the 4-hour work week possible? It is. I've not done it myself. I'm not an expert, but a few weeks ago, I interviewed a guy that is working less than 4 hours per week and making about 18,000 euros in profit per month by running a paid community. Yeah, it's possible. And when you have an elegant and great business model, like a paid community, it can make it even easier to launch, grow, manage, run. Yeah. Who knows? If you decided to build your own paid community and you worked on it at least 2 hours per day, or at least 2 hours 5 days a week, who knows what your situation might look like 3 months from now. Kind of exciting to think about. You know, if you were to work only as an employee with your wages as an employee as your one and only source of income, and you invested it in the stock market or in an index fund, something like that, and you wanted to live off the income of your investments that way. If you had a 10% ROI on your investments and you wanted to have a full income, okay, then I guess you would need at least 10 years of wages saved up, maybe a little bit less because it would compound over years, but yeah, the amount in your investment portfolio would need to be about 10 years worth of wages. And if that had an ROI of 10%, 10% of 10 years worth of wages, that's 1 year's worth of wages. And then, yeah, 10 years worth of wages and 10% of that, full income. But if you were working as an employee, as your one and only source of income, how long will it take you to get to that point with that business model or with that investment model? There's a lot of talk about compound interest and that way of saving or investing in the stock market as a financial plan, and people get kind of wild talking about it. Oh, if you invested this small amount per month, 62 years from now you'd be a millionaire. Okay, but how much is a million in 62 years from now? What will you be able to buy for a million in 62 years from now? A half car? Who knows? Inflation and cost of living will probably continue to increase over time. In other words, the value of a dollar will probably continue to decrease over time. That's one thing. And 62 years, that's a long time. 62 years or 32 years or whatever time frame these people keep talking about. And where is the success stories? I don't mean that in a rude way, but where is the success stories? The people making money from that business model or investment model seems to be the people writing books about how amazing it is. And the stockbrokers, the banks, the people selling those kind of index funds or stock market investments, stockbrokers, yeah, that kind of stuff. And another thing about those investments is that it's not really guaranteed that you will earn 10% ROI every year on an index fund or a stock market investment, because things happen. And there's also a lot of hidden fees and taxes on top of that. And if inflation and cost of living is around 7% per year, and your stock market investment or your index fund investment is like 10% per year, okay, and there's also 1% fees, okay, now it's not really compounding that much after all. It's like 2% per year instead of 10%. So my point is, it's really flawed and extremely time consuming. 20 years later, and you might discover, oh snap, this index fund investment plan is not really working. Yeah, 20 years down the road, that's brutal for many people to discover. So yeah, maybe an alternative might be better, if that's a paid community online business, rental real estate, whatever it might be. It's there are other options out there. So yeah, and when people that I interviewed, that old lady I interviewed in her, I think she's around her 50s. She's a grandmother, but not really that old. But yeah, she launched a paid community, and by the end of month number 2, she was at $14,000 per month revenue. So like $10,000-$12,000 in profit probably per month after 2 months. And you might say, yeah, but that's not passively. She's running an online business. It's not passive income like an index fund. No, it's not. But I dare say it is semi-passive income, because she was working like 2 hours per day. She has a concept that she calls 2 hours of money-making activities, where she spends 2 hours every day, pretty much every day before noon. It's mostly about, in her case, creating content. But yeah, that's basically what she has to do per day. She did usually spend more time, like engaging in the community and stuff like that on work. But she don't have to do that, but she sometimes decides to do it. But yeah, she has a lot of freedom. And like the other guy I talked about, he's running a paid community, and he is working less than 4 hours per week these days. So it is possible to generate semi-passive income through a paid community. And it's not about I'm not promoting idleness. Hard work is good, laziness is bad. But for people that needs semi-passive income, it is possible. So you can still live a life of freedom without spending 20 years saving in an index fund and hoping it will be enough. So yeah, my point is, how long would it take for that lady, if she started and was working as an employee and saving in an index fund, how long would it take her to get to $10,000 in profit per month? And if she got to $10,000 in profit per month, and let's say that was 10%, and let's say she had a 10% ROI on her index fund. Okay, 10% ROI per year, $10,000 per month. That's times 12, that's $120,000 per year. And if that is 10%, then she would need 10 times more than that in her investment portfolio. $120,000 times 10, okay, $1.2 million she would need in her investment portfolio. That's fully possible for a lot of people. But if you have a normal job, it's going to take a lot of time. If that's your only source of income, a normal job. Even if you're making $200,000 per year, but if that's as an employee after tax, that's probably just like $120,000 per year. It will still take you like, even if you saved half of what you earned and you were earning $200,000 per year, it will probably take 1 to 3 decades at least just to save up to that amount. So who knows, maybe this lady achieved in 2 months what would have taken her 2 decades, 3 decades as an employee with an index fund. Interesting. Well, the dream of freedom is possible. Be careful who you take advice from. Should you listen to me? You should be careful about listening to me. I'm not an expert, but I've interviewed several success stories, especially for my I'm building my online education and community platform called Terrific 30, and for that, my concept is that I'm interviewing either 30 experts or 30 real-life success stories about a specific thing, and I'm turning it into a course and a community, and sometimes also a book about that subject. And the one I'm working on now is about success stories of paid communities. Really exciting stuff. If you want to check it out, you can find it on communitycashcows.com. And if you decide to join the community, you can also connect with a bunch of other people that are also in the process of building their own paid communities. Like Jim Rohn used to say, success leaves clues. So if you look at the real-life success stories of these paid community owners that I've interviewed, and you model their actions on building your own paid community, who knows? Maybe a few months from now, you'll have your own community cash cow. There's absolutely no guarantees, but what one man can do, another man can do. Exciting stuff. Anyway, you can check it out on communitycashcows.com. All right, take care and God bless.